everyone, and welcome to Startched. I am your host, Bacon Jake Bradley. You might remember me as one of the many voices that cried out in pain and anguish upon watching Crown Jewel.
See, I was in the background, just eating popcorn and laughing at his misery.
Well, good for you. Some of us were expecting D-Generation X to put up a better showing.
Hey man, how was I supposed to know? All I know is that I was entertained, not by the pay-per-view mind you, but by your agony, your profound sadness, and that's all that matters to me. Oh yeah, by the way, Stevie, Mondo, how you doing?
Well, I will be doing better when we talk about today's big event. This happened a short time ago, and unfortunately we had to delay it due to various reasons, but it is Sac Anime Blackout. And I need to tell you, this event had many twists and turns I did not see coming. The first and biggest of which was the inclusion of many extra matches featuring the amazing wrestlers of Supreme Pro Wrestling.
Man, I gotta tell you, CWF must have spent most of their budget getting that ring inside.
Yes, and it was great having it there to enhance the show.
My goodness, did it enhance? Can't say the same for the most of the actual show itself, but did it enhance?
Yes, we will get to that in a moment, but first I'd like to say thank you to all the Supreme Pro Wrestling fans who showed up, and to the members of Supreme Pro Wrestling. You put on a great show. Unfortunately, we mostly talk about the Cosplay Wrestling Federation here, so we won't really go into any of those matches, but many of them were a lot of fun and got the audience stomping their feet and cheering out loud.
You guys are the best. Cheers.
Cheers indeed. Our show was hosted, thankfully, by Donovan this time, instead of some of the other lesser people who have hosted it over the previous few events we've covered, including a certain someone we will get to later in the show. The show was set up as 2 fatal 4-way matches. The winner of each of those would go on to the semifinals. The winner of that match would then take on the champion Skeletor. And I was hoping for someone to be a grand contender and knock that skull-faced maniac off his throne and put him on his butt like He-Man did back in the 80s.
You and your old school mentalities knock people off their head. Skeletor is a fine gentleman of a villainy and entertainment. Is always a pleasure to listen to.
I heartily disagree, as I believe that your champion should be someone who represents truth and justice. Unfortunately, we have a skeleton holding the belt and a lawyer holding the other belt.
Welcome to CWF, buddy. Welcome to CWF.
We will get to a new golden age, I promise you, where we won't have lawyers and villains holding belts.
For now, we go into our round 1.
Yes, this round featured 4 contestants. We will talk about them right now, beginning with the first person who entered, All Might. This was a contender I was waiting for, a champion of truth and justice, who would come out and mop the floor with all who stood in his way until he brought light and peace and joy and everything that is good in this world to the CWF.
Boring.
You may think that, but I think his powerhouse performance knocked the crowd for a loop.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does CWF have a wellness policy in place? Because this dude, All Might, was nothing but brawn and hard justice, and he talks like an ultimate warrior. That is not really entertaining. That has been done before, and yeah, they really need to test him for steroid.
I think you're just bitter because he is that good, and it makes you feel inadequate.
I mean, please, there are better characters from My Hero Academia, but that's a whole nother time, whole nother story.
I just hope that he will have a chance to show 2 certain people named Popoco and Pipimi who did not enjoy My Hero Academia and we'll show them what a hero can really do.
But they were not there, so let's just say All Might's life has been spared. For now.
Indeed. Next into the ring was Trunks Brief, who was exactly that, brief. In and out, and no one cared.
I gotta tell you, this Princess reign didn't last long.
Yes, truly a pathetic showing. Going into the rule that seems to be developing that anyone from Dragon Ball Z is, well, sadly, a jobber. Especially the next person who entered the ring, Android 17.
Which, by the way, his sister is better.
Agreed.
I gotta tell you, we talk about these two Dragon Ball Fighter characters, and neither of them actually went over 9,000.
Not even close. They were barely even 1,000. I don't even know if they registered on a clap-o-meter, which, as we know, is a legit form of measurement.
I mean, goodness, put it this way, Yamcha is way better than those two combined.
Yes, and it would be sad to see that someone like Yamcha could probably move on to the finals, while no Dragon Ball character ever will.
Yeah, here's the A-tier character in Dragon Ball FighterZ.
I think it's about time the CWF wises up and just says no more Dragon Ball fighters, because you're nothing more than jobbers and will never truly show any true potential. Even though I did support the great Saiyaman, I can accept the fact that he didn't have what it takes to be a true champion.
Whoa, unlike the next person, oh my goodness, it is Star-Lord with A in the middle.
Lord, was he a joke? While he tried really hard at Phantomania, this comeback shows that he stopped trying at all.
I will say one thing though. I want whatever he was drinking during that match, because that must have been strong pina colada.
I agree. I could use a drink, especially after hearing his pathetic excuse for a promo.
Man, I bet he snuck in a bit of a white lightning in there, huh?
If it wasn't obvious by now, the winner of the first round was All Might, because he was the only one who brought anything to the ring.
I don't like it. I don't like him, okay? But I will admit one thing. All Might was sincere in his BS belief. So at least by the sincerity factor, sure, let's give it to him.
It's pronounced sincerity, but yes, I agree, he was quite sincere in his beliefs about truth and justice.
Tomato, tomato, All Might, no might, whatever.
The second Fatal 4-Way began with Mr. Wendell, and it's great to see him back in the ring. It has been quite some time, and I think the crowd remembered who he was, which is always a bonus.
Oh, is it the Milady meme guy?
I don't even know what that means.
Go online and look it up, dude. It's all over. But the point being is, this guy looks like he does not belong in the ring.
Yes, I think time between competitions has taken its toll on Mr. Wendell, but it was still nice to see a classic competitor back in the ring.
Oh, trust me, time is not the only thing that bit this dude down.
Says you, but I think he was great. It'd be nice to see some of the other older competitors come back. Could you imagine if Joseph Joestar made a comeback?
Well, if you want Joseph Joestar that badly, why don't you send him an email asking to come back,
I might just do that.
If you know what the email even means.
I understand how the internets work.
Do you have a computer?
Yes. The intern uses it for me so that I can spend my time doing other things like listening to sports radio and these new fangled pod carts on my phone.
Okay, Grandpa, whatever you say.
Moving on, we will talk about the next competitor, the former Blackout champion, Pikachu Libre. How can you make some sort of yawning noise when it is a former champion? We should respect our former champions, except for one more former champion that we will get to.
First of all, Charizard is the best Pokemon out there. Not Pika Libre, which is a Pokemon tournament, byproduct. Let's just get that out of the way. Second of all, Pika Libre this time came out pretty weak. Sincere, but her promos had no teeth. And no shock, and absolutely no flash movement.
Do you think that her loss to Skeletor hurt her confidence in the ring?
I think what wound up happening is that she felt the crowd cheering for her, and it made her soft. And in that softness, she lost her aggression.
I may have to agree with you on that one, but I have so much faith that Pikachu Libre can make a comeback and become a champion once more. I have nothing that I want to say bad against this former champion and hopefully future champion again.
Well, cross your fingers.
But there's someone I think we can both agree will never be a champion, and it is Winter Soldier.
Ah, that poor bastard.
He seems to get the audience on his side, but never can seem to move forward in the ranks.
Yep, just like in Avengers, he could never move forward. It's really unfortunate because he seemed to have the right set of aggression, but he just cannot deliver it properly. He has the tools to threaten people, but just cannot follow it up just properly at all. And just like that, Winter Soldier is gone.
Speaking of things that need to disappear, we have the final competitor for this set. Matt, the Rockstar Ishida.
I just want to point out, Thanos, if you're listening out there, you missed a spot.
Agreed. I have a lot of problems with Matt being there. First off, he's been the host of several events, and then he's let back into the ring as if nothing had ever changed. A lot changes when you go from competitor to host, and coming back in, especially for a match that could lead to him acquiring a belt once again, seems very strange for me. Exhibition matches, fine, but true competition doesn't feel right.
Do you ever notice that maybe, just maybe, him shaking the hands of SPW president and being part of the Shada Ducree circle has anything to do with this?
I wouldn't be surprised, especially because he made it to the semi-finals, which doesn't feel right to me.
And boy, did it not feel right at all. Like, on the one hand, we have this paragon of justice, and I say that very loosely, versus a bona fide, certified asshead of the century.
Yes, it feels like a very uneven match. And the audience had All Might's back for those semifinals.
Well, he had a lot broad back for it, thanks to steroids.
And Matt Ishida is notoriously hated by the audience, and for good reason.
Yep. And just like that, the quote-unquote best hero in the world, All Might, actually won.
At least someone put Matt Ishida in his place.
Well, I'll give All Might that. Doesn't mean I have to like him, but I'll give him that. I will say one thing though. Matt came out super angry at the crowd, almost as he got bone to pick. Unlike our finals.
Do you think Matt Ishida has built up rage from the previous events where he was constantly booed by the audience for being, quite possibly, one of the worst hosts that CWF has?
You know, I'll be honest, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. That's a lot of boos that he accumulated over the course of match after match after event after event. That still doesn't mean that you have to rely on the Shada Ducree's power to get to the semifinals.
Agreed, he should have made it on his own skills, which he clearly doesn't have.
Yes, Matt, remember, you're the Nickelback of CWF.
This brings us to our finals, All Might versus Skeletor.
Yep, we have hero that's no good versus a villain that's actually good.
Both competitors put on a great show. In the beginning, Skeletor seemed to have the crowd in the palm of his hand, but by the end of it, All Might rose up like a true hero, won the crowd over, and claimed the belt for himself.
I call shenanigans because obviously I thought Skeletor had it by just a bit. But for some reason they decided to give it to this All Might guy, who's not the best character from the series, as I have mentioned previously.
I disagree. If this was shenanigans, it would have been Matt Ishida or some other puppet of Lasheda Decrees winning the belt, and not a hero of truth and justice like All Might.
Now, let's be real here, okay? If they gave it to Matt Ishida, then the whole conspiracy shenanigan would have been way too obvious.
This is true.
So, congratulations, All Might, you keep the belt for now. Now, what's gonna happen is that you have a target on your back, good sir. Have fun.
And the thing about Skeletor is, he didn't slow down after winning the belt. Even I can admit that. Which means, All Might, you may be facing Skeletor once more, and you better be ready. Because anyone who grew up in the 80s can tell you that Skeletor always comes back more mean and better prepared after a defeat.
And those plans would have worked if Prince Adam didn't have plot armor.
Sadly, that might be true.
Now then, let's move on from this pathetic showing of a grand final into the actual finale of this wonderful event.
It is sad when the acquisition of a belt is the undercard, because the main event blew the roof off of Sac Anime.
Care to tell the crowd listening what are our main event consisting of?
It was a tag team battle with Mario teamed up with Patrick Fitzpatrick versus Phoenix Wright, who was teamed up with Scoot Robertson.
Scoot.
This match was intense. We're talking about high-flying action, we're talking about suplexes, we're talking about some of the best wrestling action at the entire show, and there was some great wrestling action at this show.
My god, I had no idea Phoenix Wright could do springboard arm drag, but there he was, planting one on Mario.
It was intense. And lots of in-ring action, including everyone rushing in to battle each other. At times, I wasn't even sure who the legal men were in the ring because the chaos got that intense.
Well, let's go hardcore rule. Everyone's legal now.
It seemed like it was going to go that direction, but in the end, it came down to, of course, Mario versus Phoenix.
And was it what Jim Ross would call slobber knocker?
I agree, it was one of the best matches, and to see a grudge match end with such an impressive bout of fisticuffs is something everyone wanted to see.
Well, do we want to tell the crowd what happened in the end?
For much of the match, it seemed like Mario and Patrick Fitzpatrick had the upper hand. Phoenix was trapped in the ring, unable to get a tag out for the longest time, taking hit after hit after hit. And then, when he finally got the chance to tag out and get a rest, the match got even more intense. Because when Phoenix came back, it turned out to just be Phoenix and Mario, and Phoenix Wright pulled off some amazing moves, dropped Mario, and Phoenix ending it with a turnbuckle elbow drop to put Mario out so that he could get the 3 count and win the grudge match.
Well, how about that? The lawyer actually won.
I am quite surprised. I was rooting for Mario until his negative behavior, like using chairs on Phoenix when he was trying to do a promo. That kind of behavior turned me on Mario and made me pull for Phoenix, and to see the Phoenix rise from the ashes and take down the arrogant plumber is a moment that I think will live on in CWF history.
Well, it definitely was a unique experience, I'll tell you that much.
I hope we can see more matches like this. While it may take time before another grudge builds up as big as Phoenix Wright and Mario, I feel that the future of CWF and the future of tag matches like this are bound to happen and bound to bring greatness to the Cosplay Wrestling Federation.
You know what I really want to see? Matt Nishida versus Braun Strowman in a cage. Let's make that happen, yeah?
I think the whole audience would have preferred to see that over his match with Brock Lesnar.
Aye.
With that being said, it's time for our wrap-up. All I can say is, if you missed out on Sac Anime, you gotta go and find that Phoenix versus Mario match. It will blow your mind. The rest of the show was fine, but not one of the strongest CWF shows, especially when compared to the main heavyweight belt shows.
Yeah, worst champion.
We'll see what happens when we get to winter Sac Anime early next year.
See, it's funny because you call it winter Sac Anime. Perhaps we might see the rise of a certain soldier with the name Winter in it.
It'll be interesting to see who shows up for that show, especially because Skeletor will likely be there to bring the pain and try to reclaim his belt, and All Might defending his belt against a new set of competitors will be exciting to watch.
Yep. That's gonna be really fun and interesting. I still think All Might's gonna lose, but we'll see, I guess.
We shall see. This season of CWF has only one show left. It is Money Shot at Hentai Con, which the thought of it already makes my stomach turn a little. However, as a sportscaster and a sports entertainment aficionado, I must soldier forward to a show that I'm sure is not the capstone that this season of CWF was looking for.
I've seen dingier and dirtier thing than Hentai Con.
I'm sure you have.
Yep. Good times.
Until next time, this is Bacon Jake Bradley.
And I'm Stevie Mondo.
And I'm reminding you to keep it sizzling, cause bacon is best when it's hot.
And dirty.
Because Skeletor will likely be there to bring the pain and try to reclaim his belt, and All Might defending his belt against a new set of competitors will be exciting to watch.
Yep. That's gonna be really fun and interesting. I still think All Might's gonna lose, but we'll see, I guess.
We shall see. This season of CWF has only one show left. It is Money Shot at Hentai Con, which the thought of it already makes my stomach turn a little. However, as a sportscaster and a sports entertainment aficionado, I must soldier forward to a show that I'm sure is not the capstone that this season of CWF was looking for.
I've seen dingier and dirtier thing than Hentai Con.
I'm sure you have.
Yep. Good times.
Until next time, this is Bacon Jake Bradley.
And I'm Stevie Mondo.
And I'm reminding you to keep it sizzling, cause bacon is best when it's hot.
And dirty.
Bacon is best when it's hot.
And dirty.